Is there a strategy that'll help you grow your company faster? CEO Sales Strategies is an investigative business podcast for entrepreneurial people who never stop asking questions. Highly acclaimed sales revenue growth expert Doug C. Brown interviews CEOs, business owners, and professionals who serve them to uncover and share actionable tips and methods behind their bulletproof sales strategies. Topics covered on the show include their failures, struggles, secrets, and processes that help them succeed in selling millions to billions of dollars of their products and services, all with the sole aim of helping you grow your business. If you are eager to know the most effective sales secrets from the A players of the game, then the CEO Sales Strategies podcast is certainly the place to be.
Hey everyone, this is Doug C. Brown with the CEO Sales Strategies podcast. I've got an awesome guest for you today. His name is Mr. Taylor Frame. He is the co-founder of a company called Focus Funnels, and Focus Funnels provides online marketing services. And the reason I asked Taylor to come on to this call is Taylor is a big proponent of keeping it simple so that you can implement that process of online marketing. And so many people out there teaching marketing or agencies or people who profess to know what they're doing, they're teaching all of these complex processes that quite frankly are hard to implement because the technology itself is really either A, not there, or B, it's just complicated to put into play, right? So what we want to do here is we want to break it down into its essence, and Taylor's going to share the step-by-step process for you to be able to implement this with or without technology supporting it. So without further ado, let's go talk to Taylor. Taylor, welcome to the CEO Sales Strategies podcast. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
I'm super excited, Doug. Can't wait to dive in.
So why don't you tell everybody what you do at Focus Funnels and what your company does so we set the frame for this?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Taylor, like you said. I'm the co-founder here at Focus Funnels. We've been in business for over 6 years, and we have a really simple value strategy. We help build acquisition funnels to acquire new customers for online brands. So this can be as varied as direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands. It can be for coaching businesses. It can be for B2B SaaS companies. We work with a variety of people, but everything comes down to one simple principle. How do I acquire new customers every single week? And that is exactly what we do.
And that's what everybody wants. How do I acquire clients? So you and I know one another. So this is great because I can just ask these really tough questions and but I really want to know the answer to this question. A lot of people seem to have confusion about how to do online marketing the right way.
Yeah.
And there's so many people out there, Taylor, teaching secret sauce formulas, and they're not really teaching that which works.
Right.
Because it's not a full complement of what somebody needs. They're just giving them a piece. So how do you make it work? Does it depend on industry or does it depend on, please?
Yeah, it does actually. So when you think about online marketing, the biggest goal is you're trying to get someone to stop in the feed and consider you for just a few minutes, right? The biggest goal that we're trying to do, because we have to take someone from an online space to some sort of human connection. And for B2B companies or for coaches, that's usually some sort of discovery call or a sales call or some sort of pitch, right? So online is just a way. I use the example of a fish net. We have a bunch of fish swimming through. We've got to make that fish net as tight as possible. And what that means is we need to have compelling content that tells your story in the places that your audience is spending time. So let's go back to like the 80s when malls were a rage. If you were a young brand and you wanted to get awareness from a young audience, where did you set up shop? In the mall. That's where people were spending time. Online is the exact same thing. So the first thing you have to look at is, where is my audience? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Facebook and Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Google? Like, where are they spending their time? Okay, you start there. And then you build your content strategy around where those people are interacting the most. So if you're a B2B SaaS company, it may be that most of your people are on LinkedIn and Twitter. Well, that's where you need to start. The second piece is once you've identified the platform, you now have to do some deep work internally to say, what does my offering really solve? So let me share kind of a random fun story here. We had this baby mat company that we worked with that sold these really high-end, beautiful, squishy baby mats that you would set a baby on. And when we were working with her, the value proposition that she brought to us was, hey, it's just good and safe for babies to hang out on this. And so we went with that. We started marketing that on Facebook and Instagram because that's where most moms are spending time. We couldn't get any sales. And we said, all right, we need to dive deeper here. What's the problem that we're solving with this baby mat? And she's like, well, it really makes tummy time easier. And Doug, you've had children, tummy time, kids hate tummy time. They're screaming, they're uncomfortable, the parents stressed, like it's an awful time. If you can make that simpler, it doesn't matter how much money it costs, you will pay to solve for the tummy time problem. So we built a bunch of ad sets for her that talked about how this particular mat, which was 3 times more expensive than any other mat on the market, solved the tummy time problem. Sales went through the roof, like really overnight. And so, yeah, keep going. You had a question.
No, go ahead. This is great.
So we have to go back to, okay, what is the platform that people are spending time on? For her, it was Facebook and Instagram. What is the very specific problem that we're solving? And we got really granular on that. Like it wasn't about kid safety. It wasn't about a soft place to hang out. It was literally just tummy time. And then we built all of our ads and messaging and the landing page that we sent people to around that extremely specific hook. And that's how we got her sales. So to broaden this out, you've got to look at 3 core things. Where are people spending their time? What is the very specific pain point that I'm solving in the marketplace? And does my content and does my website accurately reflect that? You nail those 3 things, boom, you've got really good marketing that's going to convert.
Now, so Taylor, I'm sitting here going, that's so simple. It's like, why is everybody teaching I've got to do the triple double dragon kick of Kung Fu? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I understood you correctly, where are they? Right? Like where they hang out on a regular basis. What is the pain point or pain points they're looking to solve? And how do I write something or have a video or something that expresses that in a term in which they understand and they go, this solves my problem. I don't want a screaming kid in my face, and I want my child to feel better. And so, okay, I'll buy it. I don't care what it costs, right? I mean, that's the story I just heard. Is that accurate?
That is 100% accurate. Here is why there are so many people in this space making this more complicated than it needs to be. It's because they're marketers and their job is to make you feel like you don't know how to do it. And if they can make you feel like there's a lack or that it's super complicated or that I have to follow this 40-step program, then you're going to give up and you're going to hire them. But if you can just get back to the core principles, and here's the funny thing that has happened with all of the changes that have happened in the last 2 years with digital marketing, with iOS 14 changes, with costs on platform going up, with people jumping around from different platforms. When we get back to the principles of marketing, the campaigns always work. And here are the principles of marketing. Do I solve a specific problem? Is there a human connection? Is it within a price point that I can relatively afford and it isn't ridiculous? You just go back to really, and this is sales as well.
Right.
Can I connect with a human? Can I understand your pain point and can I address it? That's it. And so the reason these guys complicate this, or girls or whoever's out there, is because if they can make it seem so complex, then you're like, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to figure this out. I'm just going to hire these people. But all they're doing on the background is those 3 steps that I described. Where is the audience hanging out? Do I have a solution that will solve their problem? And can I connect with them?
We're speaking with Mr. Taylor Frame from Focus Funnels at focusfunnels.com. Part of me goes, it can't be that simple. And part of me goes, it is that simple because I know it, right? So, but I wrote down, just as you were saying, the last 3 things, I wrote down, offline to online, just to remind me to bring this point up. The reality is that there was no online. Online was a newspaper, a magazine, a report or something, right? That was kind of online, if you will, right? Direct mail, that was online. So these concepts, which are consistent with selling, right? Find where your ideal people are hanging out, find out what the problems or opportunities that they're looking to resolve are, write a compelling message that, says, hey, I'm the right person for you, and present it to them, which is basically traffic, right? There it is. In today's world, right? And those are really the concept. They had to come from somewhere, so they came from offline to online. And when you said that, I was like, it was like a light bulb went off, like, beep, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and I get why people are I don't want to say skewing the truth, but I get why they're saying, oh, Taylor, you might be able to appreciate this. I was just at a place where we were talking. I went to a 3-day event of like a masterminding event with people, and we were talking about men. They look at color and they go, oh, it's green, right? But women, they look at the color and they go, no, that is turquoise green, or that is flannel fennel green, or whatever, right? And totally. They can see it in the difference in the clothing. We would look at my shirt and go, it's pink, and they go, no, it's light salmon, right? And so
right.
Which is all valuable, right? It's all valuable. But the reality is it's a shirt.
Yep.
Right. And it's a shirt. So it's, and so my point being is that if somebody is thinking about entering this thing with online, because a lot of people have apprehension now because they've been burnt 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah.
And now they run across a guy like you who goes, it's these 3 or 4 points and that's it. And they may go, well, that's too good to be true. What would we say to these people to sort of allay their fears on and around this thought?
Yeah. When I tell a lot of people before they even hire us is I say, hey, take these principles and go put them into practice. Like, get on LinkedIn for 2 weeks and post every single day about how your product or solution solves a very specific problem, and just do it organically and watch what happens. Without any ad spend or any complicated strategy, you just pick up your phone and start telling your story and start talking about how you specifically solve a problem. And guaranteed you will start to get shares, and you will start to get comments, and you will start to get engagement. That's how simple this is. And then we'll take it to the next level by putting ad spend behind it and refining the message and building landing pages and getting people to interact with you faster. Like, we'll add a little maturity and sophistication to it, but it's the exact same strategy. It's talking to people one-to-one, human to human, and saying, hey, I see you. You have a pain. Let me help you solve that. Have you considered this? And boom.
I'm going to double or triple dare everyone on this line to go out and do what you just said. Like, everyone who's listening, try what he's talking about, because it works.
One of the crazy things that we've seen, especially in e-commerce, right? We have a lot of e-commerce clients. We spend a lot of time building e-commerce funnels, and people are blown away. And we're taking business from some of the biggest agencies in the business, right? All the coastal agencies that are charging ridiculous sums to work with them will come in and set up very simple, straightforward strategies that outperform them almost every single time. And it's staggering when we meet with like a CEO or a CMO and we say, hey, can you get out your phone and just record this for us and send it to my team? We'll edit it up and we'll build a funnel around it. 9 times out of 10, that is the best converting ad set, and it costs them nothing. There's no production team. There's no complex scripting. It's just the founder or the main person that came up with the product talking to their audience and saying, hey, I was like you. I had this problem. Here's how I solved it. You should check this out.
What may be a reason or two that would be the best converting versus like creating, I don't know, a dancing unicorn, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. It's because people crave authenticity and human connection. We just went through 2 years where that was completely cut off for most people. And we're coming back into, this last year and a half where we are craving authenticity and human connection. And when you strip away all of the dancing unicorns and all of the madness that is marketing, and you just focus on connecting human to human, turns out it works.
It's interesting. You brought up authenticity and human connection. And my brain immediately went to, it's the DMV, anti-DMV, right? It's like, because I don't know if I told you, Taylor, but I just bought a motorcycle, right? I hadn't had a bike in a long time. And I'm like, I just want to ride again. And so I go down to the town, the city hall, I register the thing. Now I got to go to the DMV. It's like, you got to set an appointment to go to the DMV today. So it says, call this phone number. I call this phone number and it's like, for option 1, push this. For option 2, push that. And he's on the 7th option on this thing. And I'm like going out of my mind. I'm like, somebody just pick the phone up. I just want to talk to somebody. Then I'm like, I'm up on Google trying to figure out how to do this online. I figure out how to do this. He's on like option 11 by the time I figure this out. I go to the website because I want veterans plates because, being a vet.
Yeah.
And why do I want veterans plates? Well, folks, if you have veterans plates and you get pulled over, the police usually are nicer to you than not, because they were usually veterans. Right. So, and plus you get into parks and things like that, which is nice. So thank you, government. But I go up on there and I'm like, I'm thinking, because in there, they give you a menu of choices, like 11 drop downs. And then there's like 5 subheadings on each. And I'm like, there's nothing on veterans plates. And in the meantime, this guy is looped back on the phone. And I'm like, I am saying to myself, please, someone just talk to me. I'm looking for connection at this point, human connection. And if somebody had to pick that phone up and said, hi, I can help you, it's $25, I'd be like, here's my credit card. Just let me get this done.
Yeah.
Right. So authenticity and human connection, we're now in 2023, eventually in 2024, right? That is huge in selling in general, because there are so many companies taking that away. It's all becoming self-service. And it doesn't matter on what level, Taylor, that's what I'm seeing. I mean, I went to Whole Foods the other day and it's like, they wiped out a lot of their people at the counter. And it's like
checkers.
Yeah, checkers. And I went to another grocery store, my wife and I, and I'm like, there are no checkers. It's all self out, right? And I'm like, why would I pay this for this, right? My brain is going in this direction. And the reason I'm going off on this is not because I'm cheap, guys and gals. It's because I want connection. I want to go up to that thing, and the person behind the rings you up, goes, hey, how you doing today? Did you find everything you're looking for? I want that because it's human to human connection. Yeah, so sure. It doesn't surprise me that the CEO or whatever person within that company is coming on and not making this a Steven Spielberg production. And it's like, okay, this person's being authentic. I can connect with them. I can feel them as a human being. And that makes me want to do more together. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, let me share a fun little story. So
please,
one of my good friends, he is a master at building funnels, and he started this new company where they do AI generated workouts. Okay. So it's a really cool app. It's in the fitness space where people can do a workout, and based on what's happening in the workout, they can touch a button saying this is too hard or too easy, and the workout will then adjust based on where you're at. So it's very AI driven. It's very complex. Anyways, he was having, and he's been in the marketing space forever, he was having a really tough time getting people to convert on these pretty complex funnels that he had built out. And he's been in the space just like me for a really long time. So he says, you know what? I'm going to flip the script and I'm going to focus on content creation. So now he sits down with his team once a week. He records an hour and a half long podcast. His team chops it up and they take this podcast and they place it all over the internet, on Facebook, TikTok, Google, YouTube, Twitter. They put all this stuff all over the place. He saw his cost per acquisition, which is the cost to acquire a new customer, cut in half. He changed nothing on his funnels. He just got more content out there. And his content is literally telling his story, why he built the app, why it's unique, how it solves people's problems, how it helps people get in better shape with less effort, right? He's just telling his story over and over and over again, and then placing that story with no paid spend behind it. This is all organic. And his CPA came way down. And so he's leaning into that. And it goes back to that simple strategy is, where is your audience spending time online? What problem do I solve? How do I connect with them? And it has massive impacts on your paid strategy, your organic strategy, and will help you get more leads or more deals in the funnel just by nature of human connection.
It's masterful. Speaking of Mr. Taylor Frame, he has co-founder of Focus Funnels at focusfunnels.com. Taylor, how do people know more about, because I'm sure there's people going, okay, I got to talk to this guy, right?
Yeah.
How do they get hold of you?
So if you go on our website, there's a contact form. We're also across all channels. We're on Facebook and Instagram. We have a YouTube channel, but focusfunnels.com is the fastest way. And that will most likely go directly to me. And we can set up a call to chat about what you need. Once again, very human connection, very straightforward, no BS. Just a chance to talk about, this is what we're trying to do. Are we the right firm to take you there?
So those of you who are listening still, Taylor and I, we met in a really cool way. I thought it was awesome. We went to this, I'll call it a networking event, and we just kind of hit it off, you, myself, and a few other people on the table. And we've been connected ever since. And what I always appreciated about you, and what I loved about having a relationship, is that you are you. You are a genuine, like, who you are on this is as much as you would be if we were just, out having a party, or if you were in a boardroom meeting. You're the same guy across the board, and that's just the way it is. I really appreciate that about you. I have a question, because, all right, if it's so simple, then why is the technology so hard? Right? Like, if it's so simple, guys like yourself who are in this every single day, and technology's changing all the time, you're keeping up with this, but why is the technology so hard? Like, I'm always wondered that question, and I never got a chance to ask it, so I figured I would to you.
Yeah, that's a good question. When you look at all the apps and the different systems out there, what they're trying to replicate is, can I talk to you about your problems at the right time? Like, really, when marketing automation, when you think about it, all it's trying to do is replicate what humans do every single day, person to person. When you walk into a room, your body immediately senses the energy, the vibe, and immediately adjusts. And marketing automation, all the tools and the complexity we built, is trying to recreate that. When a person comes in, they're like, okay, what is your problem? Where are you along the sales cycle? How can we somehow customize our message to you? And then at some point, either have you sign up online or get on a call with one of our sales reps, right? That's really it. So the reason it's so complex is because we're trying to replicate what humans do, which is so hard.
Yes.
Right? We've been promised self-driving cars for the last 2 decades, but turns out it's really hard to replicate what a human does behind the wheel. Marketing automation is the exact same thing. It is surprisingly complex because we're trying to replicate what humans do so well. When you meet up with your friend for coffee, in that first 2 seconds of seeing them, you know whether they're having a good day or a bad day. You know how to immediately adjust, like, do I need a hug? Is it a handshake? Is it a high five? And then the first words out of your mouth immediately meet that person where they're at. How do you replicate that with marketing software? It's really hard, right? And that's why there's so much complexity there. Like, when you get down to the core of it.
I've never heard it. Well, I've only asked this question to you, but I mean, that is like spot on. Right. But as I'm thinking about that, I'm like, that's brilliant. So basically what marketing automation is trying to do, but it's so hard to do, is replicate that authenticity and human connection.
Yeah.
But, we are very complex individuals. We are as human beings, right? So
Totally.
it's very difficult to do that. And I would challenge anybody to look at their technology today and ask the question, is this making it easier for my client or potential buyer, or is it making it more difficult? So DMV, instead of having a list of, okay, I get it. They're the DMV. They're always going to have clients coming in, right? But not every business runs that way.
Yeah.
And Taylor, when you were talking about that, I wrote this down because Hilton Hotel just did something I think is kind of brilliant. At first, I was like I didn't really like it, but then I was like, the second time I used it, I was like, this is cool. Like sometimes you call down the front desk and you want something. They go, well, I got to transfer you to engineering, or I got to transfer you to housekeeping or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, what they did is they created some type of AI something on the front end, and it basically says, what can I help you with today? And you say, this is what's going on, right?
Yeah.
The pillow in my room exploded and feathers are flying everywhere, and no, we didn't have a pillow fight, right? That type of thing. And it goes, hold on, I'll transfer you to maintenance right now. Right. Or, hey, I was wondering what the hours of the restaurant are. Hold on, we'll transfer you to the restaurant right now. And it just makes my life easier now. When I pick it up, I can tell them what I want. Right. So that to me is a great technology usage. It's a great technology. And it does replace human beings in some capacity. Right.
Yep.
But the loop that I went through with the DMV, I see a lot of companies using that.
Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah. Right. So
it's bad.
So that's what I'm hearing you say. If you can make this more authentic and more connected, and people feel that human connection still, then technology is good. If not, in marketing, in the context of it, it may not be that great to use.
Yeah. I mean, look at a e-commerce business, for example. When you look at all the apps on the front end of the buying cycle, and then all the apps on the back end, they're essentially replicating the experience you would have when you walk into a really good retail store. So I used to work at Nordstrom, and I was in the men's department. And when someone would walk into my floor, I would immediately go up to them, greet them. How is their day going? And then I'd say, is there anything I can do to make your shopping experience better? And they'd be like, oh, I have a date coming up. I want to look really good with this date. I don't want to be too formal, but I also don't want to look like a slouch. I said, great. Let me build an outfit for you. Okay, what do you like? All right. And I'd pick very specific things based on your body style and how you showed up and the way that you're looking. I think this is the outfit for you. Let's go try it on. They'd try it on. They'd be like, how do you feel? I feel great. Or you know what? This shirt doesn't quite fit right. Great. Let me go grab you one more. Perfect. Here's the outfit. You stoked on this? Yeah, this is awesome. Let me check out. Help them check out, get everything set, ask them a few more questions. And then after they're done saying, hey, man, let me know how the day goes, first off. And then two, come back and let's do this again. Next time you go out, or if you want to go get a job or do something like that, let me help dress you so that you feel good. When you think about the e-commerce journey, we're just trying to replicate that. How do we greet them on the front end? How do we customize what they want? How do we make sure they have a smooth process? And then as they're checking out, is there a follow-up? And all of the tools especially in e-com automation, we're just replicating that. Kind of interesting, right?
My brain has gone, woohoo, right? Because it's funny that you brought the clothing thing up, because when especially, I don't know how to dress myself, right? I mean, I just, so when I had a date, I used to go into the clothing store.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have found you, but I would have found, not because I don't like you, but I would have found the best looking gal in the place.
Totally.
And I literally used to do this. I walk into the clothing store, I find the gal, and I'd be like, wow, I would like to go out with her, right? That type of thing. So I'd walk up to her and I would literally ask this question. I'd say, I'm not hitting on you, I promise. I just want to know, how would you want to see me dressed if I was going to ask you out?
Yeah.
right?
That's a great question.
Because I have a date and I want her to feel that way about me.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
And so she would, the gal would take and go, well, I'd wear this, I'd wear that, just as you were doing, right?
Totally.
And then, what I love what you're doing is you're creating a second step though. Hey, come back and let me know how the date worked out.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Totally.
if that date worked out amazing, they're coming back and buying more clothing from you. There's no question. Right.
Totally.
I'd be like, Taylor, man, give you a big hug. Hey, here's my credit card. Dress me. Right. That type of thing.
Totally.
And
when you think about like e-com, posts, service surveys, reviews, SMS, email, it's all trying to get that communication going. That's all it's trying to do.
Right.
And then when you get down to that human to human connection, it allows people to feel an affinity towards a brand. And then they come back and buy again.
The challenge I see with technology that way, and I'd love your feedback on this, is I don't think it's relevant and meaningful enough. Again, I'm gonna pat Hilton on the back and a couple other brands, but when I go to stay there, I'll get a text, but I know it's a generic text, but it feels like it's for me because I'm clear enough to read between the lines because of, the sales acumen that I have.
Yeah.
But I will respond, and a human being literally will respond to me because I say things like, no machine can even think about coming up with an answer, right? That would be cogent. So they respond back to me, and I feel like, wow, they care. Yeah. They care. They're asking me questions like, hey, can I make a recommendation for a restaurant? Or, you here alone, or you with a significant other? Oh, I'm here with my wife. Oh, great. What kind of food does she like? Well, she likes, Italian food or Thai food or whatever. Hey, can I recommend, Thai Village down the street, and I've literally had restaurants, the hotel will set it up and send me down there and go see Sergio down at, there. And I walk in, Sergio goes, hey, Mr. Brown, how you doing? Oh, how's your wife, Houston are doing? Great. I'm like, how do you know us? Oh, the hotel, told us to take really good care of you. And I'm like, this is amazing, right? Like, so every time I go back to Toronto, I'm staying here. And that's what you're saying we're trying to replicate with technology.
Yes.
But is it the technology? Some of the technology won't do it, Taylor, or is it just that people don't take enough time to figure out how to use it human to human?
That going back to your original question is, why is it so complicated?
Mm-hmm.
We've been told by all these gurus and these, masters that it needs to be complicated and nuanced and complex. And because of that, people overthink the strategy almost every single time. And so as they're overthinking the strategy, they end up doing strange things that don't even feel human anymore. So like, think about an email flow. Like, let's say you're post-purchase, you bought a thing. Think about a simple email flow that first email says, hey, here's some tips how to use what you just bought. You're like, wow, this is valuable.
Right.
And then the next email is saying, hey, if you're having a good or bad experience, we're here for you. Like, do you need some help? Here's our support line, or here's our support number. Like, okay, that's helpful. And then maybe a couple days later saying, hey, we didn't hear back from you, so it sounds like things must be going well. Would you mind leaving a review and tell us about your experience? Like, it's so simple.
Yeah.
But we make it so complex that it doesn't make any sense anymore.
And
right.
And the wonderful part and the sad part is people don't do that, but it's so easy to do.
Just make it human to human. Right. And a lot of the tools, like for texting, for example, we do a lot of text message marketing for our clients. And there's a simple strategy we follow. It's value, value, ask. Value, value, ask. We give you two things super valuable. Here's 3 ways to use this dress, or here's 3 ways to better swaddle your baby, right? And then after we give them a little bit of value, then we say, hey, we actually have a solution for that. If you're struggling with swaddling your baby, here's a super cool product that we have. You might want to check it out. Guess what people do? They go and buy it.
Yep.
Because you just gave them value, value, value. And then you said, here's something that might help you, your ask. And our SMS strategy will outperform almost any previous thing that they're doing. Because in the past, all they were doing was like Sale, discount, sale, discount, sale, discount. People are like, I don't need another sale or discount.
Right.
Like, teach me, educate me, add value to my life. Then I'll care about what you have to say.
Yep. Going back to authenticity and human connection again.
I mean, how many times you've been to dinner with someone and they started out talking about themselves, and 20 minutes into it, they're still talking about themselves. You are hoping to God that you can get out of that dinner, right?
Yep.
You're like, I'm so over this. And brands do the same thing. Me, me, me. They just talk about themselves all day long. And very rarely do they stop and be like, wait, how can I help my customer? And when they flip that script and start talking about the customer, turns out they start to get more sales.
Because everybody wants to know what somebody cares about them and is willing to listen about.
That's it, man. That's it.
Wow. Well, Taylor, I want to thank you so much for bringing your A game here on this podcast of the CEO Sales Strategies podcast. And those of you reach out to Taylor and have a conversation. We'll post all of this in the show notes for you to make it easy. And Taylor, we started our first conversation, the initial conversation prior to getting on here with, has the rains of California kind of stopped. And I'm glad you're getting sunny days coming out for the next week for you and everybody else in California.
Thank you so much, Doug. This has been so much fun. And I hope for everyone listening, we didn't talk a lot about like nuts and bolts strategy, but I hope you'll take these principles and take a look at how you're showing up for your customers. And guaranteed there's little tweaks you can do to be more human, be more authentic, and you'll see massive gains in your marketing. So I hope this is of value.
Oh, it's Taylor, here's the thing. Audience, I can feel the hate email coming in or whatever later on this. But here's the thing. You just laid out a master class on how to do online marketing the right way in a simple 3 to 4 step process. That is huge value because you're in this game every single day. I'm in this and I'm on the sales side, but I'm hearing it on the marketing side every single day. This is the number one challenge that I know people face. Yep. It's just too complex for them. And they're just like, I don't understand it. And so thank you for doing that. And I'd love to have you back again. And we'll do some nuts and bolts, deeper dive on this.
I love it
as well.
I would enjoy that. Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome, Taylor. Thanks for being here. All right. I've got several pages of notes here. I'm going to keep this as brief as possible. Value, ask. Value, ask. Wow. On SMS, right? Short message service. Text. Why would we do value, ask? Because the more we provide value, the more people are going to want to ask us. So when we provide value, we're providing value again, then we ask. We've earned the right to ask because we are creating human connection. We are creating value for these people. We are creating an authenticity if we're doing this right. And speaking of authenticity, did you love the fact that you don't have to go do Steven Spielberg or Tom Hanks productions? Nothing wrong with Tom Hanks or Steven Spielberg. You do not need to do all of this award-winning, cinematic type of production. It's not required. So what's the point? Put it into play. Keep it simple, right? Put it into play. Keep it simple. And loved what he said, authenticity and human connection. Use your technology to provide this. Use yourself to provide this. The old adage of people don't, care until they know how much you care about them. That's what we're talking about. Build a human connection, build rapport, build value. You do those 3 things. And the 4th thing, ask, and people will say yes. It's really all it's to it. Follow the step-by-step formula that he laid out in this. And please send me at doug@ceosalesstrategies.com an email. Let me know how you're doing with this. I'd really like to know, did this episode really kind of go, wow, this made it, it was super clear, because that's my hopes for you for this particular episode. So if you love Taylor and you love this episode, please go give this a 5-star review. Tell your friends, share this with people so you can help more people. That's what we started this podcast for. And If you or someone you know is an expert, or you have something that you would like to hear an expert talking about, reach out to us at YouMatter, YOUMATTER, at ceosalesstrategies.com, and we will answer your inquiry. We'll respond back to you. Yes, we are playing also authenticity and human connection here. We will respond back to you and let you know this is great for our show or it's not. And either way, but we'll get back to you. If you are looking to up your sales game, in other words, get yourself into the top 1% of earners, or even somewhere in between the top 1% and the top 10% of earners, let us know. We are rolling out a 1% Earners Academy where we're teaching everything that I have been using over the last 40 years to be in that particular category, as well as we have a software, and that's called Vibitno, and Vibitno is rolling out this year. And so we have two waiting lists. Vibitno is an automated prospecting and automated follow-up that's meaningful and relevant, that will help you convert more sales and not drop the things that you've been dropping. And the 1% Academy will help you get to the next level or levels in your selling career. Now, if you're not a salesperson, that's okay. You're selling every single day, and if you're a CEO, you're selling. If you're in any type of capacity where you're talking to human beings, you're selling. It's really about communication. Until next time, this is Doug C. Brown with the CEO Sales Strategies Podcast saying, go out, sell something, sell a lot of it, right? Sell it profitably, but play win-win while you're doing it. They win. You're solving a problem or an opportunity for them that they want to achieve, and you win because they're giving you remuneration for your particular services. Until next time, go out, be perfect as you are, and to your success.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the CEO Sales Strategies Podcast. What is something that you learned that you could act on today? Don't forget to schedule it now, or it may never get forward momentum. If you find our content valuable, please leave a favorable review and let us know what you liked. Please also share this with others if the content will help them. For our show notes, other episodes, and more interesting content and resources, please visit ceosalesstrategiespodcast.com. See you soon, and to your continued success.